Welcome to Tamer Bowling Video Ball Reviews. We need your support, so if you like what we do, please support us by joining our Patreon page. Don't forget to check out our partner Pureit Bowling at pureitbowling.com. I want to thank Limerick Bowl for their support. If you're in the area, don't forget to visit Limerick Bowl in Limerick, Pennsylvania. Alright, today we are testing the Brunswick Vapor Zone. We're testing on a 40-foot medium house shot, 39-foot PBA Chameleon pattern. First impressions, if you're the nostalgic type, Brunswick offers a pretty new asymmetric pearl Vapor Zone to add to your arsenal. For value, we gave the Vapor Zone a B. Generally, we like pearl asyms as they're pretty versatile pieces, and the Brunswick Vapor Zone fits that mold fairly closely. Overall, we gave the Vapor Zone a B on house shot, B on sport shot. There's a lot of love for the Vapor Zone out there, and this is another ball in Brunswick's vintage line. And people are generally pretty nostalgic, but things change, and if technology doesn't continue to improve, people wouldn't quite feel the same way throwing a decade-old ball on today's conditions. Anyway, so changing the cover stock brings it to what we've seen in the past. With that said, I have no personal connection to the original. What I can tell you is that what this incarnation offers, and that's a clean look with a smooth but angular transition. The more I threw it, the more versatile it appeared. I could get to the pocket with varying lines and decent carry. Eventually, the ball is too strong to play direct on this house shot as we approach summer. The ball is clearly an asym, and you can see the ball set strongly, although it might not be as obvious until you pay attention how it's going through the pins. I found the ball to have varying amounts of continuation, so was exacerbating a bit of my own inconsistency. I could play it between 13 and 17 at the arrows. The Vapor Zone did have the angularity to make it back from outside misses, but not much continuation. Inside misses just don't hold due to that angularity. Sean was next and saw generally the same characteristics. The Vapor Zone is definitely angular, so when it went and sliced through the pins. He can basically float it to the break point around 7 and the ball comes back from there. It's a little deceptive and sometimes not obviously angular by eye until you calculate the boards it's covering. Down lane, you can again see some hook set motion from the asym core. Misses in again, no chance of holding. Misses out, can actually kind of stop because of that hook set motion of the core. So even with it being on the angular side, it still has that characteristic, what I call hook set. Bryan was next, and he had a pretty easy look to the pocket with the Vapor Zone. He couldn't be more direct than 10 at the arrows, but also couldn't use more angle than, say, 12 at the arrows. The more angle he used, the more deflection he saw through the pins. Say it again, that hook set motion will likely be more effective when there is a more defined front to back oil line versus left to right friction that's created by your typical house shot walls. And with the deflection, he did see his share of 10 pins. Ultimately, this felt more like a medium symmetric, conducive to the patterns that I would say are medium volume, medium length. We tested on a 39-foot Chameleon pattern for the sport shot, and for me, 11 to 7 was the ideal line. I could parallel things in to give myself a bit more room at the break point, away from the out of bounds, but the ball's a bit clean for the pattern. Some surface will probably slow it down a touch and make it a bit more usable. Nevertheless, it felt like it could be usable on a medium sport pattern with the right surface. Sean was next, and aligning with his love of pro asyms was the fact that he could crush this pattern with the Vapor Zone. He could play as direct as 9 to 5 or get into 17 to 9. The ball drove harder the more axis rotation he used, but had quite an easy time tossing the Vapor Zone on this Chameleon pattern. And finally, Bryan, he also didn't have a very difficult time getting to the pocket. Yes, he's using a tight, pretty direct line, 7 or 8 to 8 or 9, kind of pointing it. But he's got a good look. It's shiny, so misses in, still don't hold. Misses out, went 60 feet. Bryan and I had to watch ball speed with the out-of-box surface on this sport battle. Final thoughts. I can get nostalgic at times, but didn't really have that with the Vapor Zone because I never flew the original. But this Brunswick release offers a pearl ASIM with some versatility but angularity. I think it will be a little more versatile if it was a touch smoother, but then that might change its intent. And it felt medium strength overall relative to equipment we typically see. It's a nice piece that'll capture those nostalgic for emotion that was recognizable and successful.
I need to tell you the one Tamer Elbaga reviews.